Mr. President, Mr. President, the Europeans want Ukraine to be part of NATO as part of this deal. Are you willing to budge on that at all, or is it a firm?
Well, I could be very nice and say, oh, well, we'll work to it. Look, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. That's what started this whole
betrayal. Billions in military aid frozen. Europe scrambling to rearm. Ukraine left exposed. The U.S., once the self-proclaimed champion of democracy, has pulled the rug out from under one of its closest allies. Washington's message is clear. Ukraine is no longer its problem. NATO's foundations have been shaken, and European leaders are suddenly realizing what they should have known all along. American support comes with an expiration date. So, what has really happened here? This isn't just another foreign policy shift. This is the ruthless reality of geopolitics, where promises mean nothing and power means everything. The moment Donald Trump stepped back into the Oval Office, foreign leaders braced for a new era of unpredictability. Many had hoped that his campaign rhetoric was just that, rhetoric. But then, the unthinkable happened. U.S. military aid to Ukraine has been frozen indefinitely. The excuse? According to insiders, Trump has wanted Ukraine to seek peace with Russia, on Russia's terms. A leaked recording from a closed-door meeting revealed just how transactional the situation has become. Trump reportedly told aides, "Ukraine is Europe's problem now, let them pay for it." For years, Trump has been vocal about his disdain for NATO, calling it obsolete and even hinting that he would pull the U.S. out entirely. Now, he's not just hinting, he's acting. The message to Europe: you're on your own. The EU's response has been nothing short of desperate. As soon as it became clear that Washington wouldn't be writing any more blank checks, European leaders scrambled to unveil Rearm Europe, a €800 billion military spending initiative designed to make the continent self-reliant. But here's the irony. This sudden urgency has exposed years of complacency. For decades, European leaders happily let the U.S. foot the bill for their security, ignoring repeated warnings that they needed to take defense seriously. Now, with Russia at their doorstep and American support evaporating, they're scrambling to do in months what should have been done over the last decade. And the worst part? They still can't agree on what to do. France and Germany have pushed for rapid militarization, while other nations called for more diplomacy. Italy openly questioned whether throwing billions into an arms race is the right approach. The EU's so-called unified response has been anything but unified. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin has been watching all of this unfold with a smirk. Because as long as Europe remains divided, he knows he's already winning. Behind closed doors, negotiations have been taking place between US and Russian officials. The topic? Peace settlements. Though many have argued that what's really happening is the slow-motion betrayal of Ukraine. Washington reportedly suggested that Kyiv consider a 30-day ceasefire, while Moscow has used the opportunity to push for further territorial concessions. For Ukraine, this is a nightmare scenario. After years of fighting, they have been asked to negotiate with the very force that invaded them. President Volodymyr Zelensky has publicly resisted these pressures, but insiders have revealed that frustration has been growing within his government. Officials have privately expressed concern that the U.S. has been willing to use Ukraine as a bargaining chip to stabilize relations with Russia. And perhaps the biggest betrayal of all? The U.S. hasn't even tried to hide it. A senior American official was quoted as saying, "Ukraine is just one part of the bigger picture. We have to look at long-term strategic interests." In other words, Ukraine is expendable. What's happening in Ukraine hasn't just been about one war. It has been about a global shift in power. The U.S. has signaled that it's no longer willing to be the world's policeman. Europe has been trying, clumsily, to fill the gap, and Russia has been taking full advantage of the chaos. Meanwhile, China has been watching closely. Some have speculated that Beijing has seen the U.S.'s retreat from Ukraine as a green light for its own ambitions in Taiwan. The logic is simple. If Washington won't stand by Ukraine, will it really risk everything for Taipei? And then, of course, there's Ukraine, the biggest loser in all of this. After fighting for years, after receiving promises of unwavering support, they have been left to fend for themselves. History has repeated itself. Just like in 2008, when Georgia was left to face Russian aggression alone. Just like in 2014, when Crimea was annexed with barely a response. And now, 2025. Another broken promise. Another country abandoned. As of now, Europe has been racing to rearm. The US has been stepping back, and Ukraine has been hanging on by a thread. The world has been changing rapidly, and not in a way that favors the West. NATO, once thought to be unbreakable, has been looking more fragile than ever. Meanwhile, Moscow and Beijing have been playing the long game, waiting for the moment when the cracks in the Western alliance become impossible to ignore. The question is no longer whether the world has been changing. It's whether the US and its allies are ready for what comes next.